Cell therapy has been rapidly gaining its niche in medicine due to its applicability in various diseases. So as a cell therapy researcher, you must be wondering what considerations there are when it comes to developing cell therapy products. Hello and welcome to the TTC video series. I'm Sachin and today we are joined by Dr. Sudipto Bari, who is happy to share his expertise and experience in developing cell therapy products. So thanks for joining us, Dr. Sudipto.
Thank you, Sachin, for having me today to speak about cell therapy product development. I'll be delighted to share my experience on developing cell therapy products with our audiences.
So Sudipto, recently cell therapies have been shown to be effective in treating various diseases. Could you just give us viewers a brief overview of the field of cell therapy?
Cellular therapies are living drugs that uses live stem cells or differentiated cells to cure diseases. Let us take a look at the following two examples. Chimeric antigen receptor T cells, or in short CAR T cells, have been recently approved for the treatment of various types of blood cancers. In this cell-based immunotherapy, a patient's autologous T cells are genetically engineered to express receptors that would bind to antigens expressed specifically on the cell surface of the cancerous cells, thereby causing death to such cells. In cell-based regenerative medicine, lineage-specific stem cells and progenitor cells sourced either from allogenic bank or from an autologous patient are used to replace diseased or aged cells, tissues and organs. An example, mesenchymal stem cells, or in short MSCs, that can be sourced from various organs in our body have been shown to be effective in the treatment of various diseases.
Going downstream into the product development process, what can you tell us about the current clinical trial and product approval landscape when it comes to cell therapy products?
Right. The year 2020 was in fact pivotal for the rapidly evolving landscape of cellular therapies. The innovative therapies are continuing to demonstrate both durable and curative therapeutic benefits for patients suffering from numerous late-stage diseases. As shown in the infographic, cell therapy trials have been carried out in all major disciplines of medicine. It is worth noting that majority of these trials are in fact targeted towards oncology indications. Just to give you an overview of the clinical development programs out there are over 1,200 registered clinical trials worldwide for cell and gene therapy products, with a total of over 90,000 patients enrolled for the year 2020. Majority of the trials are in phase 2, with approximately 12% of these trials being in phase 3 that are heading towards regulatory approvals. Representatives from the US FDA and EMA have predicted that they will each be approving 10 to 20 cell and gene therapy products per year by 2025. Given the fast-paced development of such advanced therapeutics, major regulatory bodies have developed dedicated programs to facilitate the expedited review and approval of these products. Furthermore, the cell and gene therapy industry have indeed attracted the interest of investors and various commercialization partners. The sector raised close to $20 billion in 2020, which was a 50% increment from the previous year. Based on the market reports by various bodies, for example, the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine, there were at least 50 deals that raised more than $100 million in the year 2020. In summary, we are witnessing high growth rate in the product development, clinical adoption, as well as commercialization of cellular therapies that are saving patients' lives.
And what are the key considerations that a product developer must take into account when it comes to developing a viable cell therapy product?
Like any other drug development program, there are multiple items to take note of during a cell therapy product development. These include robust preclinical safety and efficacy studies, a well thought out clinical program that will enable product registration, and of course a sustainable commercialization roadmap. A major component for the success of a cell therapy product is the ability to achieve scalable manufacturing in a clean environment with the appropriate quality management system that complies with prevailing regulations. The highly complex manufacturing process in fact contributes significantly to the high cost associated with these therapies. For example, as you may be aware, a single dose of CAR T cells could cost up to $500,000. Let us take a deeper dive in the cell therapy manufacturing process, which is particularly different from conventional pharmaceutical drugs such as small molecules and monoclonal antibodies. Some of the key differences include the scale of manufacturing that could be achieved with cell therapies being a living drug, and the specialized ancillary material and specific equipments that are required. In most cases, a single batch of manufactured cell therapy product is sufficient to dose a single patient. Just to provide an overview, the manufacturing process for most cell therapies begins at a hospital by collecting the cells from the patient or the donors. For autologous therapies, the cells are collected from the patients, while for allogeneic therapies, the cells are usually collected from healthy donors. These collected live cells are then transported to a manufacturing facility that meets current good manufacturing practice regulations. In most cases, cells of interest are isolated from the collected cells and subjected to genetic engineering to increase the therapeutic potency and specificity. The genetically engineered cells are maintained in a conducive condition that allows them to grow to achieve therapeutic dosage level. At the end of the cell expansion process, cells are harvested from the culturing vessels and washed. The final few steps include formulation, cryopreservation, and shipment of the product to the hospital for patient administration.
Thanks for touching upon the topic of manufacturing, which has become an important point of discussion in this field. So, could you tell us a bit about the key considerations when it comes to having a successful and sustainable manufacturing process?
Thanks, Sachin, for bringing up this very key essential point around manufacturing of cell therapies, right? Of course, there are a few key factors that we need to look into, and I'll try to cover some of them. Firstly, process development. Product developers should note that prior to initiating a product manufacturing campaign, it is essential to carry out process development. This is a crucial pre-manufacturing step to develop the standard operating protocols and other parameters that would enable cost, time, and resource efficient manufacturing programs. Utilizing optimal ancillary material with relevant documentation in place ensures a safe, potent product that would conform to regulatory guidelines. There is much R&D taking place in identifying potent growth factors, efficient gene delivery tools, enhanced cell selection methodologies, and advanced cryopreservation processes that would eventually contribute to next generation manufacturing processes at reduced cost.
So, it sounds like the manufacturing process is quite laborious. Are there any ways in which the process can be made more efficient and cost effective?
Again, Sachin, that's a very good point to discuss. In its early years, cell therapy manufacturing had been labor intensive, as you have mentioned, and involved many manual techniques that increased cost and chances of product contamination, which means the products could not be used for patients, right? Therefore, choosing the right type of fully automated and closed system equipment or platform technologies that caters to the required manufacturing scale have been shown to reduce manufacturing cost as much as 30% for several products out there.
And how critical is the target product profile in generating cell therapy products?
Similar to all other drugs and biologics, again, it is extremely essential to identify the target product profile at an early stage of development, as well as to identify the critical quality attributes that are essential in formulating a manufacturing process that can either be scaled up or scaled out to achieve the required therapeutic dosage. It is important to ensure that the product specification conforms to the required dosage, identity, potency, and sterility, as they are critical contributors to clinical safety and efficacy in patient. At present, much R&D are taking place to identify new tools and product testing technologies that will improve upon the specificity of characterization, increase accuracy of predicting clinical efficacy, and reduce the turnaround time and cost associated with cell therapy product testing.
So now that you've described the whole manufacturing process up to the development of a final product, when do you think is the right time to engage the key stakeholders to bring this to the market?
It is essential to engage clinicians and regulators in an early stage of the development to identify gaps. Based on current industry trends, especially for startup companies, being able to engage currently available manufacturing facilities to help support the manufacturing of novel products that are entering into first-in-human trials are seen to be a good strategic and risk mitigating moves. This is important because building out a dedicated manufacturing facility for a specific product requires high capital investment and could impose significant financial risk and liabilities to the startup company prior to obtaining efficacious clinical data and developing a robust, comprehensive product pipeline.
And how do you perceive Singapore's response to the global demand of cell therapy products?
In our local ecosystem, we have a number of recent activities that is facilitating the growth and usage of cellular therapeutics, right? A few notable ones include disease and cell type specific research and development programs that are aimed towards identification of either new cell therapeutics or platform technologies to aid in manufacturing. Rapid and robust growth in the presence of pharmaceutical companies through increase in both clinical and commercial activities. In the past couple of years, there has been increased investment that has led to the proliferation of startup or biotech companies in our local ecosystem. They are offering cellular therapy products, reagent, equipment, and product characterization capabilities. Next, the development of large manufacturing facilities in both the public and private sector that would enhance process development and clinical manufacturing capacity and capability. Most importantly, we are also witnessing consolidation and growth in specialized clinical infrastructures, resources, and capabilities to manage patients receiving cellular therapy products. The development and implementation of comprehensive regulatory guidelines for cell, tissue, and gene therapy products that converges with those from other major regulatory authorities. Lastly, a number of ongoing efforts in educational activities through seminars and conferences to create interest and awareness in the field of cellular therapy.
Thank you, Sudipto, for sharing your insights with us. I'm sure the researchers working on cell therapy products will definitely find your recommendations useful.
Thank you, Sachin, for having me for this conversation. Truly looking forward to an exciting time of development in the cell therapy ecosystem of Singapore and the rest of the world that could eventually bring the hope of cure to many patients.